A low hum of machinery underscored the silence aboard Research Outpost Theta 9, hidden deep in a lawless sector of space. Kalen Dre wiped sweat from his brow, the recycled air stale with a metallic tang that never left the back of his throat. Gravity here felt heavier than Earth standard, one more small discomfort to remind him that isolation was the price of innovation. Kalen was one of the few engineers qualified to reverse engineer alien tech, especially the sort recovered from recent skirmishes with the hegemony. He'd volunteered for this solitary post, craving the kind of focus that only deep space silence could offer. For 3 weeks, he'd seen no one. Until now. The station trembled suddenly. Lights flickered, then snapped red. Emergency alerts echoed from the comm panels. Kalen's head snapped up, something had docked. And it wasn't scheduled. He grabbed the plasma pistol from under his workstation and sprinted toward the hangar. The blast doors hissed open. A small patrol craft sat crookedly on the bay floor, its hull riddled with plasma scoring and meteor burns. The airlock cycled with a guttural whine. What stepped out made Kalen freeze. She was tall, easily 6 feet, and covered in shimmering silver-blue fur that clung to a lithe, muscular frame. Her face was striking, feline grace combined with unmistakable intelligence. Amber eyes met his, gleaming with pain and defiance. A long tail curled warily behind her. Her armor was sleek and tactical, bristling with gear and scorched in several places. And strapped to her back was a plasma rifle that looked like it could tear through bulkheads. "Human," she said, her voice low and melodic. "I am Valera of the Catharion Vanguard. I need your help." Kalen slowly lowered his weapon. "I'm Kalen Dre, Xenotech engineer." "What kind of help?" She took a slow breath, wincing slightly. "There's something embedded in my fur. I cannot remove it myself. It causes pain, and I fear it may be a tracker." She turned slightly. Near the base of her tail, Kalen spotted a small, pulsing red node, alien tech, definitely not Catharion make. "That's hegemony issue," he muttered, leaning in slightly. "They've been using these for bio-tracking, and worse. It's broadcasting right now." Valera's ears twitched. "Can you remove it?" Kalen hesitated. The tracker was in a sensitive spot, intimate, even. But he could see the tightness in her posture, the tension in her jaw. She was in pain. Vulnerable. And still had the courage to ask. "I'll need my tools," he said, trying to keep his voice even. "But yes. I can do it." "Then do it," she said, a hint of urgency in her tone. "But, do not mock me. This situation is not easy." Kalen's heart squeezed at the softness beneath her fierce exterior. "I wouldn't dream of it." He returned with a microcutter and a scanner. Valera positioned herself at the workbench, tail extended, revealing the tracker nestled in the thick fur. The biothreads had begun to root into her skin. As he began cutting, she tensed, but didn't flinch. "You are gentle," she murmured after a moment. "Unexpected, for a human." "Not all of us are the brutes your people expect," Kalen said, carefully detaching another connection. "And not all Catharians are feral beasts," she replied. A ghost of a smile crossed her lips. The closeness made it hard to focus. Her fur was impossibly soft, her scent subtly wild, like forests after rain. And though he worked with precision, he couldn't ignore the magnetic pull between them. Finally, with a soft click, he held up the tracker. "It's out." Valera turned, eyes searching his face. "Thank you," she whispered. Kalen stepped closer, something unspoken tightening between them. "Feeling better?" She touched his hand. Just a brush, claws carefully sheathed, but the jolt of contact sent a bolt straight through him. "Much better." Then his scanner beeped again. Kalen looked down. His brow furrowed. "This wasn't just a tracker," he said slowly. "It's been transmitting location, and recording biometrics. Whoever sent this, they know who you are. And now, they know you're here. With me. Valera's expression hardened in an instant. How long before they arrive? Kaelin ran the numbers. 6 to 12 hours, depending on distance. Then we prepare, she said, hand reaching for her rifle. But she paused, glancing back. You could have removed it and sent me away. But you warned me instead. That was not expected. You could have pointed a gun at me, he replied. Instead, you asked. Her tail flicked once in thought. Then, perhaps, we both misjudged each other. Alarms sounded from the central hub, long-range sensors detecting multiple inbound signatures. As the red lights flashed and warning tones echoed through the station, Kaelin met Valera's gaze. Something deeper than strategy passed between them. This wasn't just about a threat anymore. It was about trust. And maybe something more. The hours that followed were a storm of preparation and pulsing adrenaline. Kaelin worked feverishly in the station's control hub, repurposing energy cores and rerouting power conduits. He interfaced human systems with Cather-ion energy cells, gambling everything on a hybrid defense grid that, on paper, shouldn't even be possible. Valera moved with feline grace through the corridors, marking strategic points and setting up fallback positions. She was efficient, methodical, and breathtaking. Despite the rising pressure, Kaelin found himself watching her. The way her muscles shifted under her fur as she moved. The silent confidence in her every motion. The quiet hum of strength in her presence. For a moment, it almost made him forget that warships were hurtling toward them through space.
The defense array is up, he called out as Valera entered the command center. I've tied the automated turrets into the new energy flow. Should hit twice as hard now. She looked at him, amber eyes gleaming. Impressive. Most beings wouldn't understand Cather-ion tech in weeks. You adapted in hours. Kaelin shrugged, though a small smile tugged at his lips. Humans are adaptable. It's in the job description. She stepped closer. Is that how you see yourself? Always adapting? He looked at her. Really looked. Right now. With you here. I feel like maybe we have a shot. Valera tilted her head, her ears twitching slightly in what he now recognized as amused approval. You are unlike the humans I've met before. They fear us, or hunt us. But you. You're not what I expected either, he cut in, his voice softer. You're fierce. Brilliant. Beautiful. She blinked, and for a moment her guard slipped. You see me that way? Kaelin reached out, brushing a strand of fur from her cheek, marveling at the sensation beneath his fingertips. I do. She didn't pull away. In fact, she leaned in, just a breath. Her gaze dropped to his mouth and then back to his eyes. But before either could close the distance between them, the station's AI cut in. Long-range sensors confirm 8 hostile vessels on intercept course. ETA, 4 minutes. Valera snapped back into soldier mode. Weapons ready. All armed, Kaelin replied. Shields at 91%. We'll make them work for it. They're hailing us, the AI added. Valera narrowed her eyes. Put it through. The main display flickered. A face filled the screen, human, but grotesquely augmented. Metal fused with flesh across his skull. His voice was synthetic and sneering. Station Theta, 9. This is Commander Sorek of the Hegemony Fleet. You are harboring a Cather-ion combatant. Surrender her, and we might spare your miserable life. Kaelin stepped into frame. This is a neutral research station under independent jurisdiction. You have no claim here. Sorek's grin widened. Authority comes from who carries the bigger gun, engineer. Hand over the feline, or we'll scrape your blood off the walls. Before Kaelin could reply, Valera stepped beside him, her amber eyes blazing. "I am Valera, of the Catharion Vanguard. Come for me if you dare." Her voice rang with defiance and fire. Kalen felt his heart swell with pride. "So be it," Sorex snarled. The transmission cut. Explosions rocked the station as the first plasma volleys hit. Shields flared, holding, but only just. Returning fire, Kalen shouted, his hands flying over the controls. The hybrid turrets came to life, launching blue streaks of enhanced energy toward the nearest ships. 2 exploded almost immediately. "Direct hits," Valera confirmed, monitoring the tactical feed. "But the rest are closing fast. Shields are bleeding power. They'll punch through if we don't end this fast." Kalen's mind raced. Then, inspiration struck. "If I overload the Catharion core and discharge through the hull, we could generate an EMP strong enough to fry their systems." Valera turned to him, understanding immediately. "That would hit us too. Hard. It could destroy the station. Or kill us." "Yeah." She stared at him for a long moment, then stepped closer. "If we die together." Kalen blinked. "You're serious?" She reached up, cupping his face in both hands. Her fur was warm, soft, alive. "If we live. I want to explore this," she whispered. "Whatever this is between us." His heart thundered. "When this is over," he said, and kissed her. It was fierce. Hungry. Desperate. Everything they'd been holding back poured into that moment. Her hands pulled him closer. His fingers tangled in her fur. And when they finally broke apart, both were breathless. "Do it," she said. Kalen dove to the console, initiating the overload sequence. Lights dimmed. The hum of the energy core deepened to a throbbing pulse. 30 seconds to discharge, the AI reported. Valera took her place beside him. She reached for his hand. Clawed fingers wrapped gently around his. "No matter what happens," she said, voice low. "I am glad the tracker brought me here." "So am I." Outside, the enemy ships lined up for the kill. The core detonated, not in fire, but in pure electromagnetic fury. A wave of blue energy burst outward, licking across the hull of the station and vaporizing every signal in its path. One by one, hegemony ships blinked out. Engines dead. Weapons offline. Systems fried. They spun helplessly in orbit, harmless. Inside the station, power flickered. Lights died. Systems dropped one by one. Emergency backups kicked in. Kalen stared at the screens, disbelieving. We did it," he whispered. Valera turned toward him, her smile slow and stunning. "Your plan worked." "Our plan," he corrected. She touched his face again. "You make a good partner." "The best," he whispered, and pulled her into another kiss. They stood together in the dark, the battle won, but knowing the real fight had only just begun. 3 days passed since they'd crippled the hegemony strike team. The research station, once cold and quiet, now buzzed with cautious activity. Kalen had managed to restore most of the systems using salvaged parts from the disabled enemy ships. Valera, ever the soldier, had spent the time coordinating secure communications with both Catharion and United Earth representatives. But the battle hadn't just changed the station. It had changed them. Kalen found himself watching her more closely. The curve of her shoulders, the graceful way she padded silently across metal corridors, the light in her eyes when he made her laugh. She wasn't just a soldier. She wasn't just a visitor. She was becoming his everything. They spent their nights together, sometimes talking, sometimes just sitting in silence watching binary stars rise and set. Theirs was a bond forged in chaos, tempered by danger, and sealed in moments that felt timeless. Last night, it had been Valera who kissed him. No alarms. No urgency. Just the two of them on the observation deck, bathed in starlight. And now, as Kalen calibrated one of the last sensor panels, the station's AI interrupted with a familiar monotone. Incoming transmission. Hegemony Fleet. High-priority military frequency. Valera was beside him instantly. They respond quickly to failure, she muttered. Put it through, Kalen ordered. The screen flared to life. This time, it wasn't a sneering cyborg. It was a woman, stern, human, and terrifying in her composure. Her black uniform was crisp, adorned with silver insignia. Her cold eyes took them both in. I am Admiral Voss of the Hegemony Fleet. You have destroyed our assets and interfered in an ongoing operation. Surrender yourselves. A swift death is the only mercy you'll be granted. Kalen stepped forward. This station operates under neutral jurisdiction. Your attack was unlawful. Your demands are irrelevant, she cut him off. Genetic corruption must be purged. Those who consort with alien beasts have forfeited their place in the future. Valera's claws slid out. Her entire body tensed like a coiled spring. Genetic corruption, she spat. The same filth that sparked 1,000 wars. The Admiral's expression didn't waver. You have 24 hours to surrender. After that, we will incinerate this sector. The transmission blinked out. Kalen's fists clenched. His jaw was tight, his breathing shallow. But it was Valera who was trembling, rage barely contained behind her golden eyes. They think love is impurity, she growled. That blood matters more than truth. Than connection. He turned toward her. They're wrong. She looked at him. Really looked. You speak of love so easily. Do you mean it? Kalen didn't hesitate. He stepped forward, cupping her face in both hands. I love you, Valera. Your strength, your fire. The way you see through pretense and fight for what matters. I love the way you purr when you're content, and the way you risked everything to trust me. I don't care what you are. I care who you are. Her eyes widened slightly, glistening. I love you too, Kalen Dre. For your mind. Your gentleness. Your bravery. You see me, not as a weapon, or an alien. But as a woman. They kissed again, deeply, desperately. But before passion could sweep them away, the alarm klaxons screamed across the station. Multiple contacts inbound, the AI blared. 50+ vessels. Hegemony battle group. Valera's expression shifted instantly, back into warrior. Too many. We cannot win alone. Then we don't stay alone, Kalen said, already typing commands into the comm console. I'm broadcasting a general distress signal. Every channel, every species. Let's see who answers. At first, silence. Then, blips. 1. 3. 12. Ships dropped out of hyperspace like vengeful stars. Human cruisers. Catharion destroyers. Vessels belonging to species Kalen couldn't even name. The comm crackled. This is Captain Torres of the UE Defiance. We got your signal, Kalen. Looks like you stirred up one hell of a hornet's nest. Kalen laughed in relief. Captain, I owe you a drink. Save it for after. We're not the only ones answering this call. Indeed, dozens of ships now surrounded Theta 9. A coalition of the willing, united by defiance against hatred. Valera's eyes flicked to the display, where a familiar signature blinked. Nexus, she whispered. My friend. He's brought a fleet. Another transmission came through, this time from the Hegemony. Admiral Voss's voice again, louder, angrier. All vessels. You are interfering in the purification of genetic lines. Withdraw immediately or face destruction. Captain Torres didn't hesitate. This is Captain Torres of the United Earth Fleet, speaking for every species present. Your genocidal ambitions end here. Stand down, or be dismantled. The hegemony answered with plasma. The space around the station erupted into chaos. Fleets collided. Beams of energy crossed paths with exploding hulls. The sector became a tapestry of war, every explosion a punctuation mark in a conflict far greater than two lovers or a single outpost. Kalen and Valera worked side by side in the command center. He managed power systems and shield networks, she tracked enemy formations, her voice crisp and commanding as she issued strike vectors to allied squadrons. Hegemony flagship is moving to engage, Valera called out. They're targeting our power node. I see them, Kalen responded. Rerouting power. Charging main cannon. Their synergy was flawless, unspoken coordination born from more than strategy. It was trust. It was love. As ships on both sides fell, momentum shifted. The hegemony, long accustomed to fighting isolated targets, found themselves overwhelmed by cooperation and unity. Their fleet began to fracture. Their flagship is disabled, came Nexus's voice. Admiral Voss is requesting terms. Valera's expression was ice. No terms. They offered no mercy. But Kalen touched her arm gently. Mercy is what separates us from them. She stared at him, the fire in her eyes slowly fading. You are right, again. Human compassion. I have so much still to learn. The battle ended not with a final shot, but with silence. Hegemony ships either destroyed or adrift. Voss taken into custody. On the observation deck later, Captain Torres stepped onto the station with a broad grin. Kalen, you magnificent bastard, he laughed, slapping the engineer's shoulder. Only you could find love in the middle of a war zone. Kalen chuckled, one arm sliding around Valera's waist. Captain, meet Valera, my partner in every way. Torres nodded, eyes twinkling. Any woman who can handle you has my respect. She inclined her head. He is difficult. But worth the effort. Torres looked around. So. What now? Kalen and Valera exchanged a glance. Now, she said, her tail brushing his side. We build something better. Kalen smiled. Together. The aftermath of battle brought a fragile calm to the stars surrounding Outpost Theta 9. The Allied fleet lingered, orbiting like watchful sentinels while cleanup efforts began. Inside the station, repairs were underway, but Kalen and Valera had little time for tools or diagnostics. The galaxy was watching now. And it had questions. Diplomatic channels burned hot with messages from Earth's High Command, the Cather-Ion High Council, and even neutral species curious about this unprecedented alliance. A human and a Cather-Ion warrior standing side by side, and more than that, choosing each other not just as comrades, but as something deeper. Kalen stood with Valera on the observation deck, watching as ships prepared for departure. You sure about this? He asked quietly. Her fur shimmered in the starlight, amber eyes reflecting the twin suns. About what? About us. Your people. My people. We just flipped the galaxy's expectations upside down. Valera smiled, her tail curling behind her. Let them adapt. We did. The station's AI interrupted their moment. Private transmission from the Cather-Ion Council. Incoming. Valera stepped forward. A holographic screen materialized, revealing three figures draped in regal robes, each with the same silver-blue fur as hers. The one in the center, older, scarred, but with piercing gold eyes, spoke first. Valera. Your actions have placed the Council in a complicated position. You allied with a human. You defied direct orders. You initiated joint combat without permission. Valera's posture stiffened. But, the elder continued, you also inspired a dozen species to stand against hatred. You reminded the galaxy what courage looks like. And you survived. There was a pause. We approve of your bond with the human, Kalen Dre. Continue your service, both of you, as emissaries. Show the galaxy what unity can become. The transmission ended. Kalen blinked. Wait, did we just get promoted? Valera turned to him, her grin unmistakable, even with pointed teeth. Looks like we're diplomats now. Terrifying, he deadpanned. Exhilarating, she corrected. Their laughter was interrupted again, this time by an approaching group. Engineers. Officers. Soldiers from both sides of the war, gathered in the station's common deck. One by one, they stepped forward. A Catharion technician. A human ensign. A four-armed merchant from a neutral trade union. Each had heard the story. Of the outpost that stood against the hegemony. Of the human who protected a stranger. Of the warrior who chose trust over violence. And each, in their own way, came to say, we believe in what you're building. Later that night, with the station quiet again, Kalen and Valera sat side by side on the deck's floor, leaning against a bulkhead, sharing a ration bar that tasted like regret and metal. Do you regret it? He asked softly. The tracker. That moment. The way it pulled you into my world. She didn't hesitate. Never. It was fate, I think. Strange. Intimate. I wouldn't trade it for anything. He exhaled. There's still more coming. Questions. Scrutiny. Let them ask, Valera said, her voice firm. Let them wonder how a human and a Catharion fell in love. We'll show them. Love isn't bound by species. Or history. Or politics. She rested her head on his shoulder, and he leaned into her warmth. We've proven cooperation works, she continued. We've shown that connection can defeat division. Kalen smiled, eyes fixed on the stars beyond the viewport. Together, we can change the galaxy. Together, she echoed, purring softly against him. As the binary suns dipped low and the metal floors beneath them hummed quietly, they sat in each other's arms, more than lovers. More than allies. Partners. Builders of something new. And out there, across the stars, others were beginning to believe it too. And so, from a remote research outpost in forgotten space, a simple act of trust between two strangers became the spark for something much bigger. Valera and Kalen didn't set out to be heroes. They didn't plan to reshape interstellar politics or inspire unity in a fractured galaxy. All they wanted was to survive, and maybe understand one another. But what started with a tracker buried in fur became a partnership forged in fire. They taught us something powerful, that love isn't confined by borders or biology. That sometimes, the strongest bonds are born not from similarity, but from difference. And that when two people choose to stand together, no matter how different their worlds, they can create something truly extraordinary. Outpost Theta 9 will never be the same. Neither will the hegemony, or the Catharion High Council, or Earth Command. Because now, there's a new symbol in the stars, not just of resistance, but of possibility. A human and a Catharion. Not enemies. Not just allies. But equals. And if they can learn to fight side by side, maybe the rest of us can, too. If you enjoyed this story of unexpected love, galactic tension, and world-altering unity, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. We've got more sci-fi romance, epic space conflicts, and unforgettable character arcs coming your way. Drop a comment. What would you do if an alien warrior crash-landed in your lab? Until next time, stay curious, stay brave, and remember, the galaxy is always watching.